It doesn't take courage to gang up on a single person. It takes fear. A deep, gut-wrenching, soul-paralyzing kind of fear. And you, the one they targeted, the one they whispered about, you scared them. That is the raw, unvarnished truth they will never have the spine to speak aloud. But their actions were a screaming confession. The moment a collective shifts its focus, when a group begins to meticulously track your every move, when your name is hissed in rooms you've never entered, and secret pacts are forged with the sole purpose of your demolition, that is not a display of strength. That is pure, unadulterated panic. It is the visceral reaction of a system that has encountered a force it cannot comprehend, a variable it cannot control. It's them realizing, on a cellular level, that they have never encountered someone like you before, and their frantic response shows it. Imagine a single lion, moving with a quiet, innate sovereignty through the jungle. It isn't hunting the hyenas, it is simply existing, a living embodiment of power and purpose, and yet the hyenas begin to gather. Not because the lion attacked, but simply because it exists. Its very presence is a threat to their scavenger world. That lion is you. You walk in a truth that cannot be negotiated. You move with a purpose that is not for sale. You carry a presence that, by its very nature, exposes every hollow echo, every fragile facade in the room. And those who have built their entire identities on pretense, who survive by performing and pleasing, they cannot stand it. They cannot mirror it. They cannot compete with it on a level playing field. So they do the only thing the insecure know how to do. They team up, desperately hoping that their numbers will obscure their profound individual weakness. But here is the immutable fact. Insecure people always need backup. They need a chorus to validate their solo. Powerful people are often found walking alone, not out of isolation, but out of a completeness that requires no committee. Science even confirms this dynamic jealousy is a contagion. It spreads through a group like a psychological virus. When one bitter individual, poisoned by their own inadequacy, begins to speak your name with venom, it ignites the same latent insecurity in others. It gives them permission to externalize their own self-doubt. Before you know it, you are not dealing with a single hater. You are facing a committee of the envious, a coalition built on the shaky ground of shared fear, fueled by a bitter envy, and united by one pathetic, singular mission: to stop you. The supreme irony, the poetic justice of it all, is that the more fervently they come together, the more glaringly obvious it becomes: you are the threat. You are the center of gravity. You are the standard they cannot meet. And that makes you dangerously authentic in a world that often rewards the expertly crafted mask. So, thank you. Thank you for never shrinking, for refusing to fold, for staying fiercely real in an arena that sometimes seems to celebrate the fake. This group that tried to target you was never an alliance built on truth or shared vision. It was a collusion built on a shared, festering jealousy. And anything constructed on such a toxic foundation is inherently unstable. It will break. Look closely, and you will see the cracks are already showing. One minute they are plotting against you in unified secrecy. The next, they are turning on each other with the same ferocity. Why? Because jealousy is not a bond. It is a bomb. And the moment they armed it against you, the timer began ticking down on their own fragile union. They truly believed that by grouping up, they were intimidating you. But you weren't scared. You didn't recoil in terror. You simply stood in your truth, solid and unshaken, and allowed the universe to do what it does best: expose what is false. You didn't beg for mercy. You didn't fight dirty. You didn't stoop to their level. You just existed. And that mere existence, your unwavering authenticity, caused chaos in their entire carefully constructed yet hollow structure. Because people like you aren't supposed to exist in their world. You are too real, too solid, too unbothered by their theatrics. Every time they launched an attack, they inadvertently handed you more proof of your own power. Think about it logically. Who spends that much collective energy? Who invests that much time and emotional resources trying to dismantle someone who is truly irrelevant? Who forms entire group chats dedicated to the downfall of one person? Who watches your life with the rapt attention of a critic, claiming to despise the show but never missing an episode? The answer is simple. People who are haunted by your existence. Your success is a ghost in their machine, a constant reminder of what they lack. Let's keep this absolutely real. The chosen ones do not seek drama. Drama finds them. Not because they are loud, but because their silence speaks with a resonance that fake love can never achieve. You walked into rooms with peace in your heart, and it triggered a silent war in people who have never known true inner peace. You showed up radiating your own light, and it made their shadows deeply uncomfortable. They fully expected you to fold, to break, to run and hide. They anticipated a collapse instead. You elevated. You used the pressure they applied as a catalyst for your own growth. And now, as you rise, they are the ones crumbling. Look at the pattern. It repeats throughout history. One truth-teller rises. A jealous crowd forms. They scheme, they lie, they sabotage. But in the end, the chosen one stands tall, often scarred but unbroken, while the mob dissolves into the very drama they created. This has happened to visionaries, artists, and leaders whose names we now remember. And now, it is happening to you. Let that be your confirmation. You are not average. You were never meant to blend into the background. Your light was forged to disrupt the darkness. And that beautiful disruption is now holding up a mirror, forcing them to be seen for what they truly are. Not a powerful group, but a desperate one. Not a team, but a temporary mob. And mobs, devoid of a true north, always fall apart when they run out of a common enemy. Soon, they will be left with nothing but their own insecurities staring back at them in the silence. And you will be walking forward, untouched, unbothered, and utterly unstoppable. Chosen one. Every single thing you felt, the isolation, the targeted energy, the sudden palpable tension in rooms that once felt safe. It was never your fault. It was a reaction. It was a mirror reflecting back at them what they were not. You showed people a version of potential and integrity they had abandoned or had never possessed. You reminded them of a truth they had tried to bury, and in return, they tried to shut you down. But you cannot dim a light that was built from within. Their impending downfall is not about revenge. It is simply reality reasserting itself. It is the natural, inevitable result of a foundation built on hate, and it is already in motion. You may not see the full picture yet, but the unraveling is unfolding. Miscommunication, betrayals, nervous glances when they think no one is looking, secrets accidentally slipping out. The group is rotting from the inside out, all because they poured every ounce of their energy into the futile project of destroying you, instead of the courageous work of building themselves up. Let them fall. You do not need to lift a finger. Your only task is to keep walking your path, to keep growing, to keep showing up, relentlessly and authentically, as you. Because your greatest revenge was never about payback. It was always about your unwavering presence. It was about your continued success. It was about proving, without uttering a single word, that you are still here, still glowing, still chosen. When they formed that pitiful alliance against you, they unknowingly sealed their own fate. They broadcast to the world that they could not handle you one-on-one. That is not a declaration of power. It is a confession of surrender. And from this point forward, the universe will continue to shine a relentless light on every hidden corner of their envy, until there is nowhere left for them to hide. And from this point forward, the universe will continue to shine a relentless light on every hidden corner of their envy, until there is nowhere left for them to hide. That light will not flicker, it will not dim, and it will not negotiate. It will pierce through the masks they wear, through the laughter they force, through the reputations they built on illusion and deceit. It will reveal every conversation they thought was buried, every word they spoke in the dark, every plan they crafted against you when they believed no one was watching. Because that's the thing about divine balance. It doesn't need your permission to act. It moves quietly, invisibly, and then all at once, it brings everything into perfect alignment. The truth was never lost. It was simply biding its time. And that time has arrived. While they scramble to keep their stories straight, while they nervously edit their lies to make them sound believable, you will be moving differently. You will be walking lighter, speaking clearer, radiating that unmistakable aura of someone who has survived spiritual fire and come out refined, not ruined. Every attempt to smear you, to twist your image, to frame you as the problem, will dissolve under the weight of your continued peace and your undeniable glow, because nothing speaks louder than grace under pressure. Nothing terrifies cowards more than the sight of the person they tried to destroy still walking in purpose, still smiling, still unshaken by their chaos. They'll pretend they don't notice your rise, but they'll feel it every time they close their eyes. They'll feel it when things start falling apart for no reason. They'll feel it when their alliances, once tight and secret, begin to fracture. They'll feel it when they realize that the energy they spent plotting against you has now become the very curse binding them together in misery. Because what you send out comes back magnified. They sent hatred, and now they'll be surrounded by it. They created confusion, and now they'll live inside it. Every word they spoke against you became a seed planted in their own soil, and the harvest has begun. You don't have to do anything. That's the beauty of divine justice. It doesn't need your effort, only your trust. You just keep standing, keep showing up as you, keep refusing to shrink to make others comfortable in their lies. The universe has a perfect memory, and every tear you cried, every sleepless night you endured, every moment you questioned your worth has been accounted for. None of it was wasted. Every ounce of pain became fuel. Every betrayal became training. Every season of isolation became your initiation into deeper spiritual authority. They thought they were stripping you down. In reality, they were clearing your path. And now, as you rise, you will start to see why it all had to happen. Those attacks forced you inward, forced you to find your own voice, your own protection, your own connection to the divine. They unknowingly pushed you into alignment with your higher purpose. You are no longer reacting, you are creating. No longer defending, you are manifesting. You've transcended the level of their petty wars, because you realized you never belonged in the mud with them to begin with. Your purpose was never about proving who you are to people too blind to see it. It was about remembering who you are, standing firm in it, and walking forward regardless of who clapped or who conspired. So when the whispers start again, and they will, smile. When you feel the familiar weight of jealousy directed your way, breathe deeply and remember that light always attracts moths. It's not your job to dim. It's their lesson to learn. You are not cursed by their envy. They are haunted by your authenticity. The more you rise, the more their illusions crumble. Because truth destabilizes everything built on lies, and you are walking truth. You are living proof that integrity still wins, that energy doesn't lie, and that those who move with clean hands and pure intentions will always outlast the loudest pretenders. Let them keep talking. Let them keep watching. Every move they make trying to pull you down only cements their role as your background noise in a story that was never about them. You were the main character all along, the one who carried light into rooms too accustomed to shadows. They will soon realize that what they called arrogance was actually divine confidence. What they mistook for isolation was sacred preservation, and what they mocked as sensitivity was actually spiritual discernment in its highest form. The tables have already turned, and now the same mouths that cursed you will eventually be forced to speak your name in reverence. Not because you demanded it, but because truth has a way of making liars bow. You will watch as doors open effortlessly, as blessings begin to multiply, as opportunities align in divine timing. You'll notice how the same people who tried to bury you will start asking how you survived. And the answer will always be the same. I didn't just survive. I evolved. You're not walking in vengeance. You're walking in purpose. You're not carrying bitterness. You're radiating wisdom. What they tried to end became the exact thing that crowned you with power they could never comprehend. So, chosen one, keep walking. Keep speaking your truth even when your voice shakes. Keep shining even when they try to dim your glow. Because your light is not fragile, it's eternal. And every time you show up as your authentic self, you dismantle another illusion in the collective consciousness. You are not fighting them anymore. You are outgrowing them. Their names will fade, their energy will dissolve, but your legacy will echo. The universe always sides with the one who stands in truth, because the story of the chosen one never ends in destruction. It ends in ascension. The very forces that conspired to silence you have now become the background noise to your rebirth. Every lie told about you became a stepping stone. Every attempt to break you became a spark that awakened something ancient inside you. You were never meant to fight on their level because you were built to operate above it, in realms where truth, purpose, and divine justice reign supreme. They cannot touch what has been consecrated, and you, through every trial, every sleepless night, every tear that fell unseen, have been consecrated by experience itself. You were sculpted through fire. And fire doesn't destroy gold, it refines it. You are that refinement, pure, luminous, indestructible. You are the living evidence that darkness cannot kill what carries divine assignment. The people who ganged up against you were never united by purpose, only by fear. Their alliance was an illusion, a temporary coping mechanism to shield themselves from the truth of your existence. But now, that illusion is collapsing under the weight of reality. They are beginning to see that no amount of whispers can erase divine fingerprints. They tried to block your path, but you became the path itself. And that's the real power of chosen souls. You don't just survive storms, you become their reason. You shift the energy in every space you enter. You make people question who they are when they stand next to you, not because you are trying to dominate, but because your authenticity acts like a mirror that reveals what's missing in them. They could have learned from you. They could have grown beside you. But instead, they tried to compete with something that was never in competition. And now, all they can do is watch, as the very light they mocked becomes the guiding flame the universe uses to expose everything false around them. You are walking into a new era now. An era of calm strength, quiet power, and unstoppable alignment. You won't need to announce your victories. They will speak for themselves. Your energy will enter rooms before you do, and even those who don't understand it will feel it. Your blessings will multiply in the same places they tried to bury your name. The universe doesn't waste lessons, and you've passed every test with grace that most people wouldn't have survived with sanity intact. The season of proving is over. Now comes the season of becoming. So keep your head high, your heart pure, and your faith unshaken. Let them talk, let them watch, let them try to mimic what they can never embody, because what's real cannot be copied, and what's chosen cannot be replaced. The tables are turning, the energy is shifting, and everything that once worked against you is now working for you. Divine order has reclaimed its place. You were never behind. You were being positioned. Every delay was divine timing. Every rejection was protection. Every betrayal was redirection toward something bigger, brighter, and beyond what any of them could imagine for you. And when you look back months or years from now, you'll smile, not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Because every enemy, every whisper, every dark night only helped you uncover the vastness of your own light, and you didn't lose anything. You gained yourself. And that is a victory that no group, no lie, no illusion can ever take from you. You are proof that divine alignment always wins. So rise, chosen one. Walk with grace. Speak with authority. Live unapologetically in your truth. Because your existence is no longer just survival. It's prophecy in motion. And as your light continues to expand, it will call other sleeping warriors to wake up too. You are not just surviving for yourself. You are paving the way for others to remember who they are. That's what chosen ones do. They rise so others can rise too. If this message resonated with your soul, if it reminded you that your story carries divine purpose, let your energy ripple outward. Like this message, share it with someone who needs to remember their worth. Subscribe to stay connected with this awakening. Join the movement of those walking in truth. And if your spirit feels aligned, donate to help this message continue to reach those still fighting in the dark. Your light matters. Your presence changes everything, and the world is finally ready to see you shine.